Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Monday Morning Tennis Rant on a Sunday. And I just watched maybe one of the best matches of all time, but definitely the best match in 2024. There was so much on the line, and there was a spectacular level of play because both Alcaraz and Djokovic were playing on the top of their game. And Djokovic was sharp from the get-go, held serve in the first game, and in Alcaraz's first service game, Djokovic had break points. Djokovic holds again, goes up 2-1, and then has love 40 on Alcaraz's serve. Now, in this early part of the match, Alcaraz was spraying some forehands. See, when Alcaraz is playing well, like he did in the Wimbledon final, you don't see the forehand spraying so much, but there has been times, especially prior to Indian Wells, where Alcaraz's play was erratic at times, and when he makes mistakes from the baseline, it's often the forehand that sprays more. And very early in the match, this was for sure the case that Alcaraz was making quite a few forehand errors. Alcaraz ended up holding that game down 1-2 and love 40, and I felt like his confidence went up after this game because a 2-all on Djokovic's serve, Alcaraz had some break chances. And despite Djokovic only serving 40% first serves very early in that match, every time he was break point down in that game at 2-all, Djokovic would hit a clean first serve right in the corner and saved all break points. And even though Djokovic saved those break points with great serving, I felt like Alcaraz in this part of the match was the better player, and Djokovic was making some uncharacteristic mistakes, for example, missing some half-court forehands. One of them came at 4-all, 30-all with Djokovic serving, missing a very easy half-court forehand and giving Alcaraz break point. And this game at 4-all was huge for Alcaraz because he could have broken Djokovic's serve. He had 5 break points in total. One of them, Djokovic hit 157 km an hour first serve, kick serve, and served and volleyed, and Alcaraz missed a very easy backhand return. So that was for sure an opportunity for Alcaraz to break serve and win that first set 6-4. But he didn't. Djokovic ended up holding. Up 5-4 and 30-all on Alcaraz's serve. Djokovic had a window to win the set right there, but he missed a pretty easy backhand from the baseline. Alcaraz ended up holding that game. Djokovic held, went up 6-5, and had his first set point on Alcaraz's serve at 30-40, where Alcaraz was just too strong and hit a great serve and a forehand cross-court winner. To me, the perfect illustration of why Djokovic is the GOAT in the game of tennis came at 3-all in the tiebreak, where he hit a clean forehand cross-court winner on Alcaraz's second serve. Up 4-3, he was serving twice, hit 2 perfect first serves in the corner, got both of those points, and up 6-3 in the first set. Tiebreak, Djokovic plays a perfect point where he has the upper hand in the rally and finishes the point off with a smooth forehand volley drop shot. And that right there is exactly why Djokovic has been better than the rest, because he finds his absolute best tennis when it matters the most. When the score is 6-all, 3-all in the tiebreak, this is where Djokovic turns it on and plays his best tennis. In the second set, both players served a lot better. Djokovic's first serve percentage went up to 87%, and Alcaraz was serving very strong too, and there were no break chances. These guys found themselves in another tiebreak, and what that meant is that there were absolutely no breaks in the entire match. And very similar to the first set tiebreak, Djokovic played his best tennis when it mattered the most. In my opinion, this is the best tiebreak that I've ever seen Djokovic play, and I took notes. If you have a chance to watch the highlights and find the second set tiebreak, this is the reason why Djokovic is the GOAT. So the first point in the tiebreak with Alcaraz serving, Djokovic hit a running forehand winner and got himself a mini break. Djokovic has been smoking the forehand through the entire Olympics. I have not seen Djokovic hit his forehand this aggressively and with this much confidence all year. On the second point in the tiebreak, with Djokovic serving, Alcaraz played an unbelievable point, and Djokovic was barely staying alive, running down balls. One that he barely got to popped up way into the sky. It looked like it was going long. It landed right inside the baseline, and Alcaraz ended up missing an easy forehand. Now, Djokovic might have been a little tired after that point because he lost the next 2 points. However, At 2-all, Djokovic possibly played the best point in their entire match after a 30-ball rally with both players playing unbelievable quality shots from the baseline. Djokovic unloaded on a running forehand and ripped it as hard as he could for a winner, giving himself a 3-2 lead in the tiebreak. Now at 3-2 in the tiebreak, Djokovic converted a Djoko smash. He actually has been missing some overheads. I'm going to make a video on the Djokovic overhead. But yes, Djokovic does miss some overheads. He did miss one against Musetti, and he did miss one against Alcaraz in the final as well. But in the tiebreak, of course, up 3-2, Djokovic makes the smash and goes up 4-2. Next 2 points, Djokovic is rock solid, and Alcaraz gives him a forehand miss and then a backhand miss. And on match point, up 6-2 in the second set tiebreak, Djokovic gets the opportunity on a ball that sits up a little bit higher to load and unload on his forehand and hits a winner inside in, and finally wins the only tournament that he hasn't won yet. And as I said in my preview video, I think this was one of the most important matches in Novak Djokovic's career. You can see how much this gold medal meant to him. I've never seen him so emotional after the match. There was a lot of tension. I think this tournament was on his mind for a long time. And this could possibly explain some of those mysterious performances this year. We don't know. But if you look closely, when Novak Djokovic was on the ground, you can see that his hands were shaking. He was crying. This meant a lot to him. So what is next for Novak? I'm a big fan of the Sampras style. Retiring after winning a huge tournament. For you guys that don't know, Sampras retired and never played a tournament again after beating Agassi in the US Open final. And I feel like Novak Djokovic could do the same thing. There is nothing left to win for him. He could hang it up right here and have this match be the last match that he ever played. Will he do it? I don't know. However, he did say something very interesting in the post-match interview with NBC. NBC's Brittany Yurton asked, if this was the missing piece to your puzzle, is the puzzle now complete, Novak? And Djokovic responded, yes, it is. It is. I mean, I'm telling myself always that I'm enough because I can be very self-critical, and that's probably one of the biggest battles, internal battles, that I keep on fighting with myself, that I don't feel like I've done enough. I haven't been enough in my life, on the court and off the court. So it's a big lesson for me. I'm super grateful for the blessing to win a historic gold medal for my country, to complete the Golden Slam, to complete all the records. Yurton asks, is this enough? Djokovic says, I think so. So the one thing that's happening in media currently that's very frustrating, and this relates to all players, but specifically in Novak's case and in Carlos's case, the media is crazy because everybody is hyping up Alcaraz when he wins. Alcaraz won the French Open, he won Wimbledon, and now everybody's talking about 30 Grand Slams. But I remember vividly that when Alcaraz was on that losing streak post-Cincinnati and right before Indian Wells, people were writing things like Carlos Alcaraz is overhyped, he's no good. And the same has been happening with Djokovic this year. Everybody has written him off. But something I've been saying all year long, and I've covered a lot of Djokovic matches, is that he was on the top of the tennis world in 2023, not that long ago. And his level did drop off, but the top level was close enough for him. It wasn't that far in the past, and there weren't any super serious injuries that he had to deal with in comparison to Nadal. So Novak's top level was right there for him to grasp. And I think he planned the entire year towards this particular tournament to be at his best level. And unfortunately, he had that knee injury during the French Open, which complicated everything. And he miraculously made it to the Wimbledon final, and he wasn't the real Novak Djokovic in that Wimbledon final, let's face it. Carlos Alcaraz did play well, but Novak was far from his best. And see, when Novak plays his best tennis, he's capable of beating both Sinner and Alcaraz in a Grand Slam final. I've been saying this all year long. So if Novak Djokovic wants to keep playing, I think he's going to be at the top of the game for a while. How long exactly? We don't know. Father Time catches up with everyone, but if he wishes to play in 2025, I think that he's going to be a contender for all the big titles. Now let me finish off by congratulating Carlos on a silver medal. That is something to be proud of. As I mentioned previously, Carlos was in a slump between Cincinnati and Indian Wells, and in Indian Wells, Carlos turned it on and became the best player in the world, even though his ranking doesn't reflect that. Carlos Alcaraz is so incredibly versatile in his game. He is so incredibly powerful with his strokes. But let me tell you something, he is not at his best yet. The serve, for example, something that I analyzed a while back. I recommend that you check that video out. While the serve has improved, there is still room left for improvement on the serve. While Carlos has all the shots in the book, the one thing that he struggles with at times is shot selection, where he goes for too much. He goes for low percentage shots. Even on his drop shots, sometimes he will attempt low percentage drop shots. But we have to give Carlos a break because he's still very young. He's only 21 years old, and that is only going to get better as he gets more mature. So yes, Carlos absolutely has the capability of winning a ton of Grand Slams. I don't know how many. Will he be able to win 10, 20, maybe even 30? Who knows? I don't look that far ahead in the game of tennis because a lot of things can change. Nadal was on the top of the tennis world in 2022, and then unfortunately, it appears that that was the last time that we've seen Rafa play at his top level. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We got to enjoy the present. A lot of you guys know that I'm a huge Rafa fan, and I was very sad that Rafa and Carlos did not win the gold medal in doubles. And now that Rafa is pretty close to being done, I'm an Alcaraz fan. I like Carlos a lot. If you watch the post-match interview after his loss to Djokovic with Alex Corretja, Carlos was crying, and you got to feel for him. And he's such a great kid. There's really nothing bad you can say about Carlos. Even in today's final, he was smiling between the points. The way he was behaving around Rafa and doubles, giving him all that respect. Carlos Alcaraz is great for the game of tennis. And let's not ignore Jannik Sinner as well. Tennis is in good hands. But what we witnessed today was one of the greatest matches that I've ever seen. And even if you're a Djokovic hater, and I know there are a lot of them, especially in my comment section, you gotta have respect for what he did, which is winning every single possible tennis tournament there is to win.